What's up guys, TSJAwesome 628 here, back again with another My Team Career Mode, this time for episode 8 at the Monaco Grand Prix. We're going to sort out our activity timeline, and with the 8 days we have, I decided to go for a 4-day event and 2 2-day events, which I thought was the best use of our time. We also had 3 million in terms of money, so I decided to upgrade the powertrain spec to spec 1 by increasing the resource point generation, which will cost 2 million, and we decided to advance through time.
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race.
We don't have any failures, which is good news, and we gain enough resource points to be able to afford a tyre wear upgrade, which could be crucial for our season considering how bad we have been in tyre wear in the first few races. We also have enough money to purchase a fitness centre upgrade, which will improve Jack Aitken's racecraft and awareness, which will hopefully allow him to score more points. And we also purchased an engine wear reduction upgrade for us in one of our driver perks, which, considering the engine that we've already got through and I'm going to use for the final time in this race, having not used it for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're not even a third of the way through the season with 3 components, so we definitely need to reduce wear on that. We're going to purchase a drag update for the upcoming power track races in Baku and Canada, and we are currently the 5th quickest car, and we're going to hope to leapfrog racing points in the upcoming races with our 3 upgrades. We're here for Q1, and I'm hoping to get into Q3 for this session, considering our pace on the performance charts. And our first lap was not a good lap, I can tell you that. I just didn't feel that quick in the first lap, but I did find lots of time for the second lap, which is good, because 11.2 would never get us through, and it's definitely not with P19. We are hoping to improve for the second lap. I'm already a 10th up through turn 1, and as we go later in the lap, we do improve by over a second, which will put us through to Q2, and it will put us through to Q2 in P5, which is a very good result for us, and I would be more than happy if we qualified there in Q3. But one person that didn't make it through was Jack Aitken, who qualified in P17, knocked out by Charles Leclerc. 5 thousandths was the gap between them, and that isn't good for the team, because we want to be able to score points, and that is not going to put Jack Aitken in a good position to do so. We head on to our Q2 lap then, our first one, and this one was on a U set of tyres, so it wasn't as good, and well, it was somehow still quicker than our first lap in Q1, which shows how bad the lap was. I also found that ERS kept running out at the final corner, which isn't supposed to happen, but I'm not really sure. We're going to go on to our second lap in Q2 though, and this one should be a better lap, and we already gain over 3 tenths as we head into turn 1, and as we go towards the end of the lap, we're gaining about 1.5 seconds, and that will easily put us through, and it will put us through in P3, which is even higher than our Q1 position, which, if we can continue this kind of pace, then I'll be very happy. Both Mercs, both Red Bulls, both Ferraris and both Racing Points made it through, along with myself and Ricardo. But we will start the race on the soft tyre, which could hamper our strategy, but I still think we're in for a good chance of points as we head into Q3. So let's see what we can do. On our first lap now, and this again is on used set of tyres, so we're going to see what we can do. And it won't put us that high up. It's only a 110.8, which really doesn't help. But we're on a fresh set of tyres now. We're 1.2 seconds up and we get a great final corner, and we actually managed to set a purple sector 3 and we qualify in P2, which I was never expecting that.
For tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Thomas and Valtteri Bottas. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So we were only just over half a tenth behind Lewis Hamilton in terms of lap time, but just under half a tenth ahead of Valtteri Bottas, so splitting the two Mercs, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that in the race. I think our aim is to just be on the podium though, considering we got P4 in Spain. We want to better that result, we want to get our first podium for the team.
Really seem to enjoy that. Made it look easy. Looks like you had a great qualifying session. It must be a relief being that far up the grid.
Well, I'm going to go with the option that says it wasn't a surprise, but it certainly was a surprise. I guess they're saying that because our car has improved so much, we have been improving our results each race, but I still think it was a massive surprise to be that far up the grid.
How do you feel about this team's performance this season?
They've definitely had a good performance so far this season. Well, they're the fourth best car on the grid, it seems, in terms of performance, and we're going to hope to overtake them shortly.
Appreciate your
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Thomas completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Ricardo, Albon, Perez and Lance Stroll, Sainz, Ocon, Kimi Raikkonen and Gasly, Kvyat, Aitken, Romain Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi. Magnussen, Russell, Latifi and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid.
So, the strategy for this race is just supposed to be a one-stop from softs onto mediums. I hope our tyre wear is good enough to do that strategy, but we don't know quite now. We're just going to get into it. 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. But not a good start compared to Hamilton, but an alright start compared to the cars behind, who don't seem to be able to pressurise us into turn 1. And with Monaco being one of the hardest tracks to overtake around, we'll be hoping to hold this position for the upcoming few laps, as Hamilton's already extending his advantage to 1.5 seconds, and we're only in the end of the first sector. But I don't think I'll be challenging him today. We head through the Lowe's hairpin and there's a yellow flag, probably from how slow people are going. And we head through the pretty much unique tunnel section. And now we're going to come to the end of lap 1. Still in P2. And Bottas won't have many opportunities to overtake us. But what I did find early on is that ERS does burn quite a lot around here. And I probably used it all too shortly to try and keep him ahead. But we head through the first few laps now, and tyre wear was definitely an issue. That's all I can say. Our engineer is wanting us to catch the car ahead, but I don't think that's going to be happening, as Bottas is pressurising us. And as we head on to the end of lap 5, well, tyre wear really isn't that great. ERS is already running out, and I have wasted it all, it seems already, which isn't a good sign as we head through lap 7 and Bottas is going to have his first opportunity to go for a move past us. But we managed to cover that off and keep the position, and we remain in P2 for the rest of the lap. The tunnel section is probably going to be Valtteri Bottas' best opportunity to get past us, so hopefully we can hold him off in those sections. And yet again, this time he goes for the outside line. We do still hold it off, and we keep P2. And if you see our tyre wear, already at 60%, and Bottas does try and go for it into turn 1, but we hold that off on the end. And as we go to the end of lap 9, it's 70% almost, and well, when Bottas challenged us there, I realised that our tyre wear was just too bad, and I decided we had to pit at the end of lap 10, which Jeff also suggested. So coming into the pits now, and there shouldn't be much of an issue, and I'm hoping we have much better pace on the medium tyres, because these tyres were dead. Well, they were over the 75% mark, which is a risk of a puncture. So we know how punctures can change the race based on the British Grand Prix, but I didn't fancy having a puncture myself. We gained quite a lot on Lando Norris on this opening section, as there was a slight yellow flag, but the gap went down from about 6 seconds to about 3 seconds in a short period of time, which I felt was quite good for our pace, and I hope we can be catching up to him very shortly. And we have a few more cars coming into the pits now, as we set a purple final sector, just like we did in qualifying. And we are miles ahead of Vettel, considering we were only just ahead of him as we pitted. And we're already on the back of Lando Norris. And we are going to go up the inside into the Lowe's hairpin, which is soon to be, as you'll see in the upcoming laps, one of my favourite overtaking spots in this race. And we head later in the lap to go up the inside into Raskas on Nicholas Latifi. And as we head through the final corner, we make the move stick, a few more cars into the pits, and we're up to P12. And next up is Kevin Magnussen. We head into the swimming pool section now, and we get a good run on Kevin Magnussen, and we go round the outside into Raskas this time. And we are now on the back of George Russell as we head on to lap 14 of this race. We hope to pressurise him, and as we go up further along, we manage to go through Mirabout, and as we head into the Lowe's hairpin, we go round the outside, and I was not expecting to make a move there. That was just me trying to set up a switchback, but then he left us space, and I decided I'll take the option around the outside. Next up on our hit list is Romain Grosjean, and just like we did against George Russell, we are going to have a go at him into the Lowe's hairpin, and this time up the inside, which seemed to work well for that occasion. And that's 2 cars in 2 laps past the Lowe's hairpin, and now we've got Jack Aitken next, and well, you guys have probably already guessed it, but we went round the outside of Russell in the nose hairpin, up the inside of Grosjean into the Lowe's hairpin, and now round the outside of Jack Aitken into the Lowe's hairpin. And this time Jack Aitken puts up slightly more of a fight than George Russell did, but we managed to squeeze him out into Portier, but we do hope that he does get a good result for the team, as well as us. We've now got Giovinazzi up next, and as we head on to the lap 17, we close in on him, and well, you know the drill by now. We're going to overtake him into the Lowe's hairpin, and that's 4 cars in a row. We're not going to make it 5 cars in a row though, as we get a great run on Gasly and go up the inside into Raskas, which seems to be the other place where I can make overtakes in this race. We made slight contact with him and got a warning for it, but that's okay. And we are now up to P6 in this race. We're now heading on to lap 19, and we've got Danny Kvyat just in front of us in the other AlphaTauri, having just passed Gasly. And we couldn't make an easy overtake on him, unlike the others, but on lap 20 we did get a good run, and we did decide to go up the inside into Raskas. So it's now trying to rival the Lowe's hairpin for my favourite spot of overtaking, but he went into the pits anyway, so we didn't have tried, but we did, and we got into P2. We now 40 seconds almost behind Hamilton in this race, but we are about 9 seconds ahead of Vettel. But that gap over the next few laps came down considerably, and I'm meaning 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap. Our tyre wear was atrocious this race. It was nothing short of diabolical. I just wanted to throw that phrase in there. So hopefully we can hold Sebastian Vettel at bay though, when he inevitably catches up to us. It is going to be a hard job, but if there's any track where you want track position, it is at Monaco, and there are 12 laps left, so hopefully we can successfully hold on. He does go for a move, but we fend him off, and that was the story of the next few laps. He was never quite close enough to make strong enough attempts, and well, we kept being offered a new strategy. I think Jeff saw how bad our tyre wear was, but we didn't want to pit again. In hindsight, it could have been the better thing to do. We probably could have still got ahead of Carlos Sainz, but I wanted this podium, so I didn't go for it. We again defend against Sebastian Vettel, and well, our tyres are now getting even more worn as we head on to lap 30, and well, Vettel gets a good run on us, and this time is going to go around the outside again. We lock up but hold the position, and even don't get a warning despite what I thought, and we are trying to hold on to our position. Vettel is again going to go for a move, but this time he has a much better run on us, and this time he manages to outbrake us and get past us. Max Verstappen is also going to try and go for a move. We successfully defend against him, and well, we're not going to finish P2 because Vettel should be able to get away from us, but P3 is definitely still viable, and hopefully it is what we achieve, as we only have 7 laps to go in this race after crossing the line. Max Verstappen immediately goes for a move into turn 1, but we do fend him off for now. Hopefully we can continue to fend him off as we go into the tunnel section again, and he goes for a move, but we sort of just placed our car in the middle and he didn't want to commit either side. I think he's waiting for us to make a mistake with our tyre wear, which to be fair probably isn't a bad thing because we will make probably at least one mistake between now and the end of the race, but we do defend against him. And well, the tyres are already on 65% wear as we have 5 laps to go. And going into the tunnel section, he is going to go for it again, but we just brake later it seems, and we successfully defend against him. Our tyres are now approaching 70% wear, and we only have 5 laps to go and we are still holding P3. Max Verstappen is going to go for a move into the tunnel section again, but yet again we can hold him off, and well, we only need to do that for another 4 laps and we'll be able to claim home the podium. And we managed to hold the position going on lap 36, and yet again as he approaches into the tunnel section we successfully hold on. These last few laps are definitely going to be an issue with this 72% tyre wear, and Verstappen finally gets a great run out the final corner and he's going to go past us into turn 1, and sadly that seems like the end of our podium dream. So we are now P4 in this race as we head through the tunnel again, this time defending from Carlos Sainz, who's directly behind. 3 laps to go. I guess our focus is now P4, and well, hopefully we can keep that. There is a yellow flag just in front of us, and surely not. There's only one car directly in front of us, and that is Max Verstappen, and he is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. And we are now back up into the podium positions, but we go slightly deep into Rascasse. Sainz is going to get a good exit. We go cautious into the final corner and we do not get a good run through there. Carlos Sainz immediately onto the power, and as soon as our podium dream was given back to us, it was immediately taken away by none other than Carlos Sainz, who in the McLaren looks now set to get a podium. And as we head on to the final lap, we are still keeping hold of this P4 position though. Hamilton already wins the Grand Prix. How dominant has he been this weekend? We had only just gone into turn 1 by the time he won the Grand Prix, and now Ricciardo is going to go for a move on us, but we defend, and that leaves him vulnerable to Leclerc, who immediately overtakes him, and we look to try and hold P4. Sadly we couldn't get the podium, but Sainz is already 7.5 seconds up the road, and that just shows how bad our tyre wear is, as they're pretty much 80% now, and we're just crawling across the line. Charles Leclerc gets a much better exit out of the final corner, but he isn't going to be able to overtake us in time, and we do match our best results and claim P4 at the Monaco Grand Prix, which is great, but then sad that we couldn't get the podium. Sainz probably deservedly wins driver of the day though.
This round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Carlos Sainz would be my first choice for this race. He had excellent race stamina, giving him the opportunity to charge through the ranks.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So we finished in P4. Our fastest lap was actually only slower than 3 drivers, Verstappen, Vettel and Hamilton. We are up to P8 in the championship, just ahead of Sergio Perez, which is pretty good. And as a constructor, we are P6, just behind Racing Point. Jack Aitken sadly only finished in P15 and didn't score any points in this race. In case you were wondering what happened to Bottas, he got stuck in the pit lane when he came in for his pit stop and just couldn't leave, and that's how he DNF'd.
Pretty happy with that. You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated?
I think you estimated the car really. It's been improving a lot.
Collisions?
The wear on my car was definitely making this unpredictable. I mean, you saw the tyre wear.
Great. Well, that's everything.
This result did help in the rivalry section though, and we managed to achieve a greater advantage over Kimi Raikkonen, only 3 points behind. We didn't improve in the Team McLean level, and that will be where I end the episode, so I'll see you guys next time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.